here. In October of 1918, on the Western Front of the First World War, 550 American soldiers found themselves surrounded. They were trapped in a forest called the Argonne, cut off from their own lines, running out of ammunition, and being fired upon by the very artillery of their own army, which did not know they were there. They had sent 4 carrier pigeons with messages asking the artillery to stop. Each pigeon had been shot out of the sky before it reached the other side. One pigeon remained. Her name was Cher Ami, French for dear friend, and she had already flown 12 successful missions. The message attached to her leg was the last communication the battalion had any way of sending. It read, "We are along the road parallel to 276-4. Our own artillery is dropping a barrage directly on us. For heaven's sake, stop it. Major Charles Whittlesey." Lost battalion, she was released into the air. Within seconds, the enemy had spotted her. A carrier pigeon leaving that position meant a message was being sent, and messages being sent meant the position was still alive and still communicating. Every gun that could be aimed at a bird was aimed at Cher Ami. She was hit almost immediately. A bullet struck her chest. She fell, tumbled in the air, recovered, whether by instinct or the specific stubbornness of something that does not know it is supposed to stop. No one watching could determine. She kept flying. She had lost her right eye. A bullet had passed through her breast. Her right leg, the leg that carried the message canister, was nearly severed, hanging by a single tendon. She flew on one eye, a fractured wing, and a leg that was connected to her body by a thread, 500 miles. The direction she had always known. How to find. The only mission she had been given. She arrived at division headquarters 25 minutes after she had been released. She collapsed at the loft entrance, no longer able to hold herself upright, her body having used the last of what it had to complete the distance. A soldier who saw her come in said afterward that she arrived covered in blood, with her leg hanging, and that the message canister was still attached to the tendon. That was the only thing keeping the leg connected to her body. The message was read. The artillery stopped within the hour. Of the 550 men of the lost battalion, 194 survived. Those 194 men walked out of the Argonne forest because a pigeon with one eye, a broken wing, and a leg attached by a thread refused to fall before the message was delivered. The Army's medics worked to save her. They carved her a small wooden leg to replace the one that could no longer be saved. They nursed her through the injuries to her breast and her eye. She survived, incomplete, grounded, unable to fly again, but alive. The only one of the 5 pigeons released that day who made it to the other side. France awarded Cher Ami the Croix de Guerre, one of its highest military honors, for her service. She wore the medal, which was larger than her head. The citation noted her courage. The soldiers who had been in the Argonne, the ones who were alive because she had flown, noted something simpler, that she had been given one job and had done it at a cost that would have stopped anything less determined than what she turned out to be. When the surviving soldiers of the lost battalion were able to see Cher Ami, some of them did not know what to say. Several of them said nothing. They simply stood near her and looked at the size of what had carried their message, the specific smallness of the thing that had been the difference between their lives and not. One soldier was recorded saying that he had never before understood that something that small could hold that much. Cher Ami died of her wounds 8 months after the war ended. She was preserved and is displayed today at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. Her wooden leg, her medals, the message canister still attached to the thread of a tendon that had once been a leg. She is the only bird in the Smithsonian's collection that has a military record. She is the only carrier pigeon ever to be awarded the Croix de Guerre. And she weighed, at the height of her service, less than 9 ounces, 500 miles. One eye, a broken wing, a leg attached by a thread, a message that said, for heaven's sake, stop. The lesson Cher Ami left behind, not through intention, because she had none beyond the mission, was this: the size of the thing carrying the weight has never been a reliable measure of whether the weight will be carried. Sometimes the most important thing in the world is delivered by the smallest, most broken, most improbable carrier available. And it arrives anyway.